You got problems. You need to get straight. You need a therapist. You know what you need? A therapist.
Welcome back
Oh, we jumping right into it.
to another episode of Unity Therapist Podcast. I don't have my headphones on, so hopefully I'm not talking too loud, and hopefully I'm not talking too low. How do I
You
sound in your
sound
ears?
fine in my ears. You sound good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll try to be mindful of this. Yeah, welcome back. It's another
It's Halloween
week.
today. Happy Halloween, y'all.
Trick or treat and stuff.
Are y'all tricking or y'all
Since you gay and stuff.
y'all tricking or y'all treating? What y'all do?
Happy Halloween since y'all tricking and treating and stuff.
I wish I was tricking and treating.
I got you this orange pumpkin
Girl.
since you treating and
I
stuff.
don't think it's gonna work for Halloween. I think it really only worked for Pride Month.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine, I
But
guess. You give out candy,
girl, I
friend?
had one trick or treater, one cute little black boy. He had on the damn Jason mask. But that was
Everybody had that mask on this year,
I
I
don't
feel
know
like.
why, but yeah, I had one trick or treater, and my neighbor was outside. She was on the porch, and I was like, I went out there. I was like, "Ain't no trick or treaters!" I was yelling across the street. She said, "Yeah." She said, "Over the years, they stopped coming down this neighborhood." And first I was like, "Damn, like, am I in the wrong neighborhood?"
Why?
uh,
Why is the
yeah,
question?
but I only had one, and it started to get kind of late, so I just left the bowl of candy out on the porch with the light on. And girl, I came back and it was still the same level. Nobody came.
I'm about to say, I don't trust that because I don't want nobody at my door and I don't know
Oh,
they
I
at my
know if
door.
they at the door, the camera will let me know.
Oh.
But yeah. But yeah, I
No.
ain't no kids, just that one little boy. I should have just gave him the whole damn thing of candy.
And tell him good night and he ain't
Cause
got
it
to
ain't
go
staying
nowhere
in here.
else.
I'm taking it to work tomorrow. Cause I ain't about to have all that candy in my house.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Well, I did on Friday, my job did a trunk or treat.
Cute.
And so we decorated our trunks and then they had little gift basket gift basket prizes at the end. I know words. Um and I decorated my shit like last minute, 2 days before.
Mm,
And I was like, I'm gonna do me a little spooky trunk. So I
mm.
was like, okay, I'm gonna do like little cemetery vibes. So I got some like spider web. I got some tape that was like caution, fresh gravesite, got some little tombstones. I had some motherfucking this little zombie mask thing that looks like it comes out the ground or whatever. Had some little spiders and I spread it everywhere. And then some skeletons and stuff that led up to the trunk and stuff like that where they had to come get their candy. Yeah, it's very dramatic. And then I had my little speaker with there's an Apple playlist just spooky sounds and like spooky music. And so I like hid it in the trunk. That way you could just
You really went all out for somebody that don't fuck with
I
Halloween like
did.
that.
And I didn't plan on doing that, but my airman was running it and she needed more people with trunks. And I was like, okay,
And you
let me
got that
be.
junk in that trunk.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
She be
I was
so
like, let me be
proud. She be
supportive.
so
I do.
proud.
I do. I was
Oh.
like, let me be a good supervisor and, help my airman out and let me support her. So that's why I
Mhm.
kind of went all out. I was like, if I'm going to do it,
Do it right.
I better win.
Do it right.
I better win this shit. So I did it.
Hey man.
And I won,
Look at
child.
you.
But then I had competition. This other girl, she did hers as Star Wars, but that ain't why she was about to win.
Why she about to win?
She was getting out full size candy, and them kids was like, "Oh, number four, number four." She giving out big candy. That ain't what kind of it's trunk or treat. It's about the
But
trunk.
you trying to appeal to children, so those things matter. Just saying.
I wasn't thinking about that,
And who about to be spending
but her
money?
trunk
I ain't
was
about to be
cute.
spending money on no big size candy. It's the fun size over here, baby. Uh,
It's a little.
you don't need all that candy. No way, it's bad for your teeth.
That's what I was about to say. You don't even need the full bar. You just need the little ones. That way, it like put a little taste in your mouth, and then
You
that's
know,
it.
I just had a great idea when we had these wine glasses up, and I was like, we should make an adult trunk or treat, and everybody go around with wine tastings for Halloween. Bitch,
Little wine flights,
we came on to
a
something.
little adult, a little adult like wine
Mm,
train, and you could just go to the different and coochie boards.
little cheese, little cheddar, little gouda, little look.
I know that's right.
Mm.
Little. Wait, not just wine though. Little whiskey over
No, I
here.
can't be mixing too much now, girl.
You ain't gotta mix. It's just go to the trunks that are appease to you, but
Um,
diversify because not everybody drinks wine.
but that's a cute idea. Don't nobody try to steal our idea. We need to do something. Yeah.
I'm gonna write that
Mm-hmm.
down because I am in wine country.
Mm.
So
Okay. Adult trunk or treat. Bring the wine. Thank you.
this just be a little fall thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
How you been? You been good, friend? How was your week?
Same as last week, child.
Damn.
It's a season. It's a season. It's a season. I'm gonna get over it. It's just I'm here.
Okay.
That's all I can say. I'm here,
Okay.
and I don't. Yeah, it's a season,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna get over it.
Okay.
Yeah. How's your week?
My week has been good. I had a therapy appointment today.
Mm.
Definitely got to find a new therapist. And so last week I said I was going to cancel my appointments and let her know that we wasn't a good match. But I waited too late. I forgot to cancel the appointment. The appointment came, so I didn't want to cancel like a couple of days before. Um, and so Lord knows I should have just listened to my gut and just canceled anyway. But the appointment was at 1 o'clock, and I do virtual, and I'm on the Zoom call at 1. Ain't nobody there. I'm just there by myself. 103, 105, 107. Still sitting there by myself. I'm like, okay. At 110, I'm logging off and I'm emailing. Don't bother trying to make a reschedule. Like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Literally at like 9 minutes and 40 seconds, homegirl like logs in and was like, "Oh my god, I thought it was supposed to be 2 o'clock." She don't talk like that. I'm just being extra. And
Okay.
she was like, "I thought it was supposed to be 2 o'clock, but I seen you on here." And I was like, "Why is she on there so early? And
Why are you using this voice? I cannot.
why
I
are you
can't.
on here so early?" And then I checked my email and I was like,
Sounds
"Oh
like
no,
an
she
old
ain't
white
supposed to be
lady.
on here this early. It's me." And so yeah, she apologized. And like when sometimes when people apologize, be like, "Nah, it's okay. I ain't say that
Because it's
because
not
it wasn't
okay.
okay."
It's
And that's
unprofessional.
the second time homegirl that did some unprofessional stuff while we was on the damn Zoom call.
Oh, she fell
I told you
asleep.
she was falling asleep. She was dozing when I was telling her my story about my
I
life.
forgot.
And homegirl,
Ooh.
I was getting annoyed. I'm like, damn, am I
Boring.
that boring for homegirl to be falling asleep while I'm telling her all my life secrets and shit? Like, she was like,
Yes.
just like that.
Did she say she was tired? Did she
No, she
yawn?
was yawning, but she didn't say she was tired, but she was just like doing like that on the Zoom call. I ain't lying, friend. I'm not making this shit
Friend,
up.
it gotta be you, cause didn't you have the massage therapist appointment where that man was falling
It
asleep on
wasn't a
you?
man, it was a lady. Yes, y'all.
Oh,
So real quick, like back when I was in Birmingham, like I used to always go to Massage Envy to get my massages, my little monthly massages, right? And so I was going to a new therapist because my normal man wasn't available. So I went to this girl, right? And already I was pissed because I had asked for somebody to do deep tissue. Homegirl did not do deep tissue. In fact, she was just giving me barely a Swedish. Like homegirl was just rubbing. Like
she was petting
she
you.
wasn't putting no pressure or nothing. She was just petting me. And so I was already annoyed by that. And I kept having to ask her, can you put more pressure, more pressure? Because I be having them knots in my back. I need y'all to work them kinks out. And so put the elbow, put that weight on it,
I like that weight.
There you go. You being nasty. Anyway, but yeah. So as I'm sitting there getting my massage, she doing this, and then she stopped, and then she doing this, and then she stopped, and
Mm.
then the pauses become longer and longer in between the. And this thing I know, I hear, and I was like, "Excuse me, hello, hello." Man, when I tell y'all I left that appointment and I emailed corporate so quick, they was calling me the next day, apologizing. Y'all need to apologize. Y'all need to fire that lady. Talking about some she was feeling ill and took some medicine and it was drowsy medication. Girl, if you were feeling ill, you need to stay home because you work directly with people and you touching people with your germy hands. This was before
You
COVID, but still, we ain't play that even then.
you don't need to be working if you're taking drowsy medication.
Mm, playing with me, wasting my time. That weak ass
Oh my
massage.
god.
But yeah, that's the
And what kind of medication was that? Because typically the ones that be like may cause drowsiness is typically the may part for me because it don't ever make me that drowsy to where I'm like falling asleep unless I'm actively trying to go to sleep.
people have different bodies, so whatever. Medicine affect everybody differently, so I'll give her
Right.
that. But whatever. But you should have just stayed at home. But that's the second time that I paid for a service, and the people performing the service has fell asleep, and I don't appreciate it.
And you the problem.
It ain't me. It's them sleepy hoes. Anyway, if y'all I was about to say we on YouTube. I always forget to mention this in the beginning, but if y'all want to see our pretty faces, go on over to you. We got on I got on makeup today. Sometimes I'll be having on
You
makeup.
too.
Even when I don't have makeup, I'm still cute, but I look extra cute today. So y'all head
Period.
on over to YouTube, go check us out on YouTube and look at our pretty faces, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our shit. Hit that notification. Even though you really don't need to, because we don't post outside of our normal routine Thursday. Speaking of, are we gonna start doing episodes bi-weekly? Because if so, we need to let people know now.
We don't need to let them know right now. We need
Oh,
to discuss this
okay.
and then figure it
All
out.
right, I'll take this part out. But I just wanted to let them. Hey, if we need to let y'all know, we're gonna let y'all know now. But
We
okay,
probably will with the way life is going right
yeah.
now.
So the
So
way life is life, and y'all, we gonna talk about it, but we really do think it might be best to switch to bi-weekly. So we'll let y'all know.
yeah,
Stand by because this shit hard. I ain't gonna hold you.
it is
Uh,
time difference,
yeah.
life.
Yes.
Child.
So yeah, you want to go ahead and get on into this week's topic, gal?
Okay. Well, in the spirit of Halloween,
Look how you did
we are
that.
segue. We're gonna talk about what scares us. What are we scared of in life? Fear. And what is fear? Fear is an unpleasant feeling triggered by the perception of danger, real or imagined, physical or emotional.
Okay.
Okay. And typically, when you're feeling fear, a hormone in your brain triggers like a fight or a flight response. So it's either you gonna go towards it or you gonna run away from it, basically. Um,
Naturally, do you think you a fighter or a fleer, or do you
flee,
freeze? You flee.
flee, flee or freeze. It depends.
I think I'll be ready to fight.
You do, yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
ready to
yeah. You
fight.
do, yeah,
Oh no, I'll just be ready to fight. And that's like I wouldn't say always physical, but either like emotionally, I just be ready to deal with the shit. Like just give it to
yeah.
me.
And I think
Yeah.
that's based on like how you grew up and like your surroundings and stuff like that. What like how naturally how you would respond. Like we talked about this too, where in the military we train a lot for certain
Mm,
situations.
yeah.
And so in situations that may cause or pose a threat to us, um, we're trained to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas most people either freeze or flee. Or they do an irrational thing.
Something that be
They're
completely
gonna
off the wall that don't make sense. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, why are you
So
doing that? Like, how is that
absolutely.
helping?
Absolutely. So with fear, you can't. I don't know if you can actually train yourself for that stuff because there's things I'm scared of that I'm not trained for,
Yeah.
and I keep giving the same reaction because I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but anyways, we'll unpack that. Um, so first, I want to talk about like what are some rational fears of yours, and then why are they fears?
Okay, so the only one that I can think of, right, is a fear of being broke.
Mm,
Um, and the reason I say this is just because of growing up. Like, we wasn't ever hungry or poor and didn't have like shelter or anything like that. But money wasn't always in abundance, right?
mhm.
There was never really a time that I ever went without anything, but I did have to watch my mom struggle sometimes, certain times we used to bounce around a lot from apartment to apartment, things like that, and it was just she was a single parent doing the best she could with what she had. There were times we had to live with my grandmom and things like that. And so for me, just because of the way that I grew up, that's always been a fear. Like, I don't ever want to have to struggle or depend on someone else to support me in that way, right? And so yeah, that's definitely a big fear of mine.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
common one too, especially
Yeah.
among like black folks, child, because we don't grow
Mhm.
up with money that's inherited to us, or we don't start off with a good chunk of change, or know, even if we did, know how to handle a big chunk of change
Mhm.
if it was inherited to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a common one too.
And even like now, like I have a great job that I make plenty of income off of, and I've made some good moves financially to where I'm solid, like I'm good. However, like that, and I need to really work on this. I need to get that out of my mindset because I really do think it is a limiting belief that I hold. But thinking that, like, I don't want to fuck this money up. Like, I don't want to make the wrong moves. Like, I want to make sure that I invest properly and that I save properly because I don't want to fuck it up. But knowing, just having that limited belief, thinking like maybe I'm not deserving of having this money or things like that is really, I think, the root of the fear.
Mm.
And something that I'm actually like actively working on, trying to get rid of that belief that I'm not supposed to have money, because I am supposed to have money and I am supposed to live a comfortable life that's financially free and what I desire. And yeah.
So, and I probably want to tap into this later because I feel like we're going to talk about this later. But
Uh-huh.
what you just said, um, as it being a limiting belief that you feel like you don't deserve, y- like you're not deserving of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the outside looking in, I don't know if I don't know. Maybe that is your true opinion that you feel like you don't deserve it, but I don't feel like I personally don't think you believe that you don't deserve it. You don't feel you deserve it. I think fear, like the part that's positive about it, that helps us um having those thoughts about like not fucking it up and investing it properly. I think those are all rational like thoughts you should have with large sums of money.
Yeah.
Um but not to the extent where like you're just holding on to the money and don't want to do nothing
Yeah.
with
Like
it.
you're just so scared, and then you don't
Yeah.
invest it and you end up losing more money because you're not,
There's
I,
gonna be some risk in investing and
yeah.
possibly losing some, but then it is good to be fearful of investing in not the right things or things that aren't the smartest to invest in, and wanting
Absolutely.
to be able to do your proper research to know this is the best investment and stuff like that. So, I just like from the outside looking in, I feel like you think you deserve it because you've worked hard for it, and
Yeah.
you've whether you think it's luck or you just I don't know, you did what you had to do in those moments, and then you just in the end it paid off, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like you think you deserve it, like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm still unpacking, girl. And if I had
Okay,
a good therapist, maybe she would help me unpack my shit. However, we
okay,
ain't. Yeah. What is
okay.
one of your rational fears?
I think one of my or well, not I think, I know one of my rational fears I don't know if y'all can hear that, child.
I definitely could, but it's okay. You know, you already know what it is. Or you need a therapist. We ups the wine over here, okay? Okay.
We back on the red, y'all. I
We
think
back
it's
on the.
because it's fall.
It
It's
is. You got to switch with the season.
mm,
That white is for the spring, summer. You got to get back on the red when it get
hmm
cold out. Keep you warm.
We was on rosé, champagne, prosecco,
All that white.
all of it. Okay, hold on.
Mm. Mm.
I think one of my irrational fears is not wanting to settle in a relationship. Not I'm scared of like settling.
I think
Um
that's a fear that we both have.
yeah. And I think like picking a person and like choosing that life with them and like marrying them and it being a forever type of thing and like you're not happy. I'm so scared of that. Like it's one thing if I choose a life by myself or whatever and I end up not being happy with it cuz there's some things in life where I'm not completely 100% with but I'm content with and like at any moment I can change it because it's just me and all I got to depend on is me. When you merge with somebody else, you got to think about them. You got to make decisions with them in mind. And I'm just so scared that I might, I'm not going to, but I am scared that I might choose someone who, in the beginning, or maybe as I'm getting older, I might just be like, oh, okay, maybe this is the best I could get. And like starting a life with them and it not being it
It
not
not
being what
being.
I want it to be or
It's
what
not giving what it's supposed to
not
give.
giving, and it's like, okay, I
Mm.
should have just stayed single or been by myself, or even the scariest part then is procreating with them and then having that tie with them and making it even harder to separate from them. Because yes, there's divorce and that could be hard too. But to have a child with someone and then you stuck for the rest of your life until even when that child is gone.
And they 18 and not your house. You still
But I'm
have this
saying gone as
connection.
in passed away. Like if that child was to pass away, y'all still
Uh,
stuck.
I mean, yeah, in a way, yeah.
I mean, I
All
don't
right.
know.
That got dark. I didn't know
I'm
where you were
sorry.
going
I
with
didn't mean to
that.
do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it's the
Uh,
wine. I don't know.
oh
Anyways, but
no.
yeah, that's a fear of mine that I have. And I think that comes from where does that come from? I think it comes from like watching my mom grow up in relationships and her just being
Be
yeah,
unhappy.
in and out of
Yeah.
relationships, giving all of herself, and just not, in the end, just not being happy or it ending, and just
Yeah.
seeing the aftermath of her
And how much it took a
toll.
toll on her. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
and I never want to do that. Like to literally, I remember feeling as a child, like when my mom got married, she basically I felt like I was uprooted, but she like took our lives and merged it with this other person's. And of course, I had no say so because I'm a child, of course. I have no say so. And we merged his life together for it to not it just ended. It ended. And it didn't end in a way that was positive for her. Like, okay, now this person is moving out the house. Now you gotta pay all the bills and the mortgage when you did this with someone else.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, that's just a fear of mine.
And I mean, you're not your mom. So that's one thing that you need to make very clear. And
I'm
the way
not.
that you handle conflict and the way that you handle situations is totally different from the way that your mom handles like situations. So even if you were to end up in a relationship that maybe wasn't fulfilling, one, I don't think you would stay in it just for shits and giggles. Like, not to say that you wouldn't try, but if you tried and you still were not happy, I don't for a second think that you would stay. um and it's okay to leave shit. Like, it's okay if you do well, I wouldn't even say make a mistake, but if you married the wrong person and had to get a divorce or get out of it, like, so what? People do that shit all the time. People get married 3 and 4 times until they
I'm
figure
not
it
trying to
out.
do all that. I'm not. I want to
I'm
do
not
it one
either.
time and be done with it. But yes, I
But
get it. Life is life, and
but reality is you might not get it right the first time. You might
absolutely,
have to try again,
yeah,
you know?
absolutely, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just a fear of mine for sure.
Is it inconvenient? Is it probably a lot to deal with, both emotionally, physically, and every other way that you can think of? Absolutely. But it's not something that you are incapable of doing.
Absolutely,
So, yeah.
yeah. All right, so away from rational fears, what is an irrational fear that you have, and then why?
This gonna be funny and y'all don't laugh at me. But mine is getting stuck in one of them tube water slides at the water parks. I don't know why, but that just really is very irrational. It probably never happened. And it probably really won't happen because my big grown ass is not getting in one of those, first of all.
Girl.
But it's a fear of mine. And it's very completely irrational. But
Mm, well, my irrational fear has to do with water too. And
oh.
I don't know if this is irrational because I can't swim. I can't swim. But even when so let me tell y'all a story. So this summer we all went tubing or whatever, and we got to this part where we all got off the tube, and I told them I can't swim. But they was like, it's fine because we have life jackets. Raven, you just put on a life jacket and you can jump off the cliff like we all are, and we'll be good. Child. In my head, I was like, I'm not doing this. Right. And so to appease people, I was like, maybe I'll do it. I don't know. Because it's not like I've never done water sports before or been in deeper. I've been in the ocean with the life jacket on. So I've been in the water. I've done these things, right? But I really do have this irrational fear of of water. And I don't think it's irrational because water is so intimidating. It's this large, it's huge. You can't even measure
Especially
it.
the ocean.
Yeah.
Especially the
You
ocean.
you
Yeah.
cannot measure it. It is strong. Like,
Hmm.
it's fucking intimidating, and you should be scared of it.
Yeah.
You should, and if you're not scared of water and you think you're invincible, you probably shouldn't jump in it because that's the moment you'll probably some shit might go
Yeah.
down. But anyways, we get off the tube and we get on this rock and we're about to and everybody does it and they're like, "Okay, Raven, it's good. If you watch when you jump in the water, like the current naturally pulls you this way, so you don't have to do much. Like it's going to pull you towards the thing or whatever. You don't have to do much." And I was like, it seemed convincing cuz I was like looking at it and I was watching people like just go this way. Like it was pulling you towards back to the shore basically. Um and so I get to the edge and they're like, one, two. And I was like, mm-mm. And I backed up. And it's like, okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. And then everybody started cheering my name, Raven, Raven, Raven. And I'm like, "Mm." And they're like, one, two. And the person I was going with, she stutter stepped and she jumped anyway. And I was like, I'm not going. And I just backed up. And everybody was like, oh. But I literally cried because my anxiety got the best of me. Like,
The fact that they kept pressuring you and nobody in that group was like, yo, she's clearly uncomfortable. Like,
and that was
leave her
my thing. That
alone.
was the biggest thing. I was like, it's
Like,
not like I haven't been, like I said, I've been in the ocean before. I've done these things. But like,
you was just tubing. Like, you're clearly you're not that afraid of water, but you have your
I
limits,
have my
right?
limits
So,
and like it
yeah.
has to be when I want to. Like you can't convince me to do it if I'm not ready. That's like making some with therapy. You can recommend people therapy all the fucking time, but if they're not
Hmm.
fucking ready to deal with they shit,
They ain't
they
going.
you can't do it. And so it's the same thing. Like I got our friend Elvis, he was like, Raven, I got you. I was like, Elvis, I really want you to know it's not about you. It's not that I don't trust you.
I don't want to do
I'm
it.
not I don't trust myself right now. I don't.
I don't trust shit. Y'all need to leave me
Yeah.
alone.
And so I did my little
Mm.
2 tears, thug tears, and I went like this.
You wipe them
Yeah,
off.
and I was like, I'm ready to go.
Screw you guys.
I'm ready to
I'm
go.
going
Yeah, I'm ready to
home.
go. So, child, that's my irrational fear.
Mm.
But anyways, so how do you feel when you are in fear, like emotionally or physically? Excuse me.
Physically, I definitely have like the sweaty palms. Depending on how scared I am, it's definitely going to be an increased heart rate. Especially if it's like a physical threat,
Mm,
right? Like if I am physically in danger or near
mm-hmm,
danger, it's definitely going to be a little bit more intense, right? Um, Emotional fears or fears that aren't like physical fears, right? Um how do I feel? Probably I just probably get anxious the most, right? A lot of times, like even then, like if it's like say I gotta have a difficult conversation and I'm afraid to have
mm,
this conversation or something like that, or afraid to like face some type of truth, like even then, like I get my body will tense up a little bit, like, or I'll just get like jittery and just like
mm-hmm.
so yeah, I think that's probably as far as how I feel.
No, I'm the same way. Like when it comes to like public speaking, fucking hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. And
Yeah.
like even when I'm prepared for it and I've like written down all my notes, um my heart rate.
Hmm.
Heart rate is like always inclined. When I don't know what it is about when I go to the fucking sorry. When I go to the doctor or whatever, when I go to the dentist and they take my fucking heart rate through the fucking roof. I don't know what it
Hmm.
is about being in the hospital and my heart rate.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, though. You're not the only
Yeah,
one.
and I
Yeah.
always tell them, "Look, my blood pressure and all that, it's gonna be through the roof when you first take it. Like I'm gonna have to calm down at some point, and you're gonna have to take it again because it's
Mm-hmm.
all the first time they take it, it's always like elevated. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know, and I haven't, especially when you go into the dentist. What the fuck am I scared of? I never have
I don't know.
cavities. I don't think I'm getting a tooth pulled today. Like, I don't know.
Mm.
Anyways, but yeah, like my heart rate is a way to tell that I'm like fearful or anxious, definitely anxious. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I depending on what it is, I do kind of get like antsy and like pace back and forth or whatever. Um, I'm always anxious. I'm anxiety. I'm always anxious.
Through the roof.
Oh my gosh, all the time. It don't matter what it is. I don't know. I'm always anxious. No matter if I practice it, whatever. Um, what else? I don't think I necessarily get sweaty. I stutter.
It depends on like what type of setting it is for public speaking. Like if it's like a presentation or something like that, then I guess like, it just depends on the crowd, like and who I'm doing. So like in meetings, like if I'm giving briefings, I'm good. Them people I work with all the time, like I'm Gucci, I'm comfortable. Even if I do get like tongue tied or something like that, if I do, I'll just be like, ooh, okay, can't talk today, and then keep it moving. Like, but if it's like I don't know. I think it's like the size of the group. So when one of my guys got promoted, I went up to like frock him and pin him or whatever. And it wasn't even me getting promoted, but I was like so nervous. Like I couldn't even get his rank tab on. My hands were shaking so bad. And I was like, shit. I was like, I'm nervous. He was like, breathe. And I was like you telling me to breathe and you the one getting promoted. I was like, I'm nervous. I was like, my damn head shaking. I was like, I can't get the damn tab on. He was like, take your time. Like,
That's
shit.
funny.
But yeah, like so I think it just depends on like the
Uh,
size of the crowd.
I don't care what size the
Um,
crowd is. I'm always nervous. I just public speaking is not my thing. And speaking is not my thing.
and yet you have a podcast.
But this is me and you. And in the
Like, but
beginning, to be fair, I
people
really
hear
sounded
it.
like shit. And I probably still sound like shit, but I probably sound a lot better now than I did. I know I sound a lot better
First,
now than I did when we first began.
we both do. Okay. If I go back and listen to episode 1, 2, 3, like cringe,
I
right?
couldn't
But
formulate a thought.
it's okay. We're here now, and talk nice to
I
yourself.
appreciate it.
Okay.
This is what I give myself. I give myself an A for effort because this podcast, and I think I've probably said it a million times. This podcast has helped me with public speaking and being
Mm-hmm.
okay to speak up in large crowds or in front of anybody. And to
Mm-hmm.
formulate my thoughts. I do believe it has helped me in that sense.
Amen.
A for effort. Anyway. All right. Moving on. Where was time? Okay. Gotta watch the time. See where we need to cut it out. Anyways, all right, let's talk about how fear actually helps us. And like I said, we tapped into it earlier when you were talking about the money thing. Just different ways that fear can actually have a positive impact on us because it's not always being fearful isn't always a bad thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so to start with the first thing, like being fearful protects us from danger.
Absolutely. That's what it's there for.
That fear is there for a reason. So like you about to jump in the water, right? You're scared because the water can fucking kill you. It can kill you. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
not mindful of like, well, can I swim? Do I have a life jacket? Is there a lifeguard around? Like, is this deep enough for me to jump in the water and come back up? Like if you're not, is how's the tide, the current? If you're not mindful of those things and not scared of the water, then you could possibly hurt yourself. And that's with anything,
Absolutely.
you being fearful of the money situation. If you're not recalling all the things where it could go wrong, then you could potentially lose it all.
Fumble the
Yeah.
bag, and we not fumbling no
Yes.
bags.
So I think with
Yeah.
balance, like these are very good things to be fearful of and to have. Um,
Yeah.
Another thing is with the water thing, it could also be pleasure, right? Sometimes when you're on a roller coaster, like that fear can also become like a thrill and it can release.
Like an
Yeah.
adrenaline
And
rush.
it can
Yeah, for all those junkies.
I don't think I'm that kind of person. I'll do a roller coaster,
Hmm.
but
You jumped out of a plane. You do like things that get your
just
adrenaline like up there. You've jumped out of a plane multiple times. Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on it depends on the thing. Everybody has their thing, right?
Mhm.
Mine isn't water. Maybe it's jumping out of a plane.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. Mine is not heights because when we went parasailing that time, baby,
I
your
was scared.
girl was
I was scared
scared.
too.
I
I was
was, I was so happy when that damn parachute started to come
I
down,
was scared in the
girl.
same sense because bitch, when that thing started going like this, I was like, oh bitch, I can't swim. I don't have no life jacket on. Are we gonna die? Like, whew.
Girl, like being up that high, and that thing wasn't very secure. It was just like a swing. Like your girl was scared. I will never do that again. Like I'll try anything once, and that's all it took for me was once.
So
I
you would
cannot do
not
the
parasail
parasailing,
again.
girl.
Oh
Absolutely
wow, I didn't
not.
know that.
That scared me. And I'll go ziplining. I think I'm gonna do like skydiving. I will even do that. But that parasailing thing, I'm
Okay,
cool
I
on
didn't
that.
know that.
I don't know what it was. It was just the fact that it wasn't. I was up that high, and that literally, if I sneezed, I could like flip back or something. That'll be it. Like y'all, she wrote.
I'm glad you have that opinion because I could care less about parasail. I
Yeah.
did it because I was like, okay, cool. Everybody want to do it, and I've never done it, and okay, yeah, this is cool.
Mm-mm. Like my hands just got sweaty thinking about that, yo. Just now, like I did not
That
like that
is
at all.
weird.
I
Just
felt very
thinking about certain
uncomfortable.
things too, like my heart rate increases. I ain't
Hmm.
even got to do it. My anxiety goes
Yeah.
up, everything. Anyways, yes. whatever your thing is, it can release a hormone in your brain called dopamine, and it becomes pleasure. Like you seek these types of thrills and fears or whatever, or it might be fear to somebody else. I don't know. Um, and then um, fear can also give you clarity to what's important in life. So, um, how can I? What can I think of? Um,
Fear bringing clarity to something.
like
Like if you almost die, then you realize what's
yeah,
important to you.
anything like that.
Okay.
Even with money, like prioritizing what I need to spend money on, and not just spending
Mm-hmm.
it frivolous, frivolously,
Frivolously. Frivolously.
frivolously. I be trying to use the words that I know, but sometimes they don't come out right. Frivolously,
Girl, that's actually kind of
frivolously.
it's the wine. We blaming it on the wine. Blame it on the
Yeah, bitch,
wine,
because I
girl.
ain't ate dinner. Frivolously,
Frivolously. There we
but it could give you having sex, right? If I have sex with this person raw,
First of all, let's be
that's what I'm
smart.
saying. It could give you clarity. Fear of getting this STD or this disease. I need to put this condom on.
Oh, okay. I'm about to
No,
say,
that's
let's
what
be
I'm
smart
saying.
before we
No, I
start.
mean, now
Okay.
we all done been there, child.
Ooh.
But it can give you clarity to what's important in life. So wear that condom. Anyway, and then I found this.
I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what took us out. We clearly having a moment.
Okay. Um,
It's the why. It's the why. It's the. I'm hot, girl. I need to come out this
girl,
steps.
child. We ain't had an episode like this in a long time.
Ooh.
Uh, and then I just, oh my God. And then I just learned
Get it
this while
together.
doing some research. But fear can also boost your white blood cells. And your white blood cells like boost your immune system, child, almost like frivolously.
Mm-hmm.
It boosts your immune system. And so you're healthier, right? So it's like
Mm.
fear, it's almost like your body is fighting something. So your white
Mm-hmm.
blood cells increase. Mhm.
Kick in.
So it can
Mm.
boost your white blood cells. So fear isn't necessarily a bad thing for real, all the time.
All the time. Everything in
Don't
moderation, y'all. Because that fear can always increase some stress levels, and you know what that stress do.
hair falling out, child.
So
Mm.
gray. Yeah, I
Old
got so many gray
looking
hairs.
skin.
Hmm.
Eh, mm.
Tired. We don't want that.
Child,
We
I'm
don't want that
stressed.
for y'all. We
Uh-uh.
don't want that for nobody.
Okay. Did you have anything else to add, friend? Did you have any add-ons to anything we talked about as far as fear being positive in our lives?
I think you really hit on all of it. Like use fear. It's
Mm.
there for a reason. And now next is where we can really get into it about how it
Ooh,
hinders
okay.
us.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay,
So
we'll start with that then. Sip.
wine break. Well, we need to start having wine breaks, like wine intermissions in between the episode. That's gonna be a thing. New segue,
Mhm.
new segment. What? Dang, girl, we
It's
struggling
not a struggle.
tonight.
This is going good.
It's the red. You know, we switched from white to red. That red gets you there a little
Bitch,
bit
I ain't ate
better.
dinner yet.
I think it's.
It's 6 o'clock.
Oh, I ate, but I poured one of my
Girl,
big glasses.
I'm
So,
half the bottle in. Mm.
anyway, how does
Okay.
fear gonna hurt
Fear
us?
can hinder us because ultimately it can result in PTSD, child. And we just talked about PTSD last week.
If you ain't listened, go back on YouTube, listen to the last episode, go back on Apple
Apple
Music, and share
Podcasts,
it
not
with a
Apple
friend
Music.
also. Oh, you know what I'm talking
It
about.
could ultimately result in PTSD because you let this fear or this event that's occurred in your life, rational or irrational, it occurred in your
Hmm.
life and you don't get past it. And so it
Mm.
becomes PTSD. Yeah.
Like ingrained. Anything can
Mhm.
like trigger it and bring it back up. Yeah,
Yes.
I get what you're
I
saying.
don't know what
Hmm.
else to say about that. Moving on. Did you write this? Oh, hold on.
Hmm. Okay, so anyway, so PTSD is one thing that can result from fear, right? But also phobias is like a fear-based like diagnosis that a lot of people actually have, and I don't think some people realize that they do
Mm,
have certain phobias, right? So for instance, if you had like a traumatic event, right, with when you were a kid and you got bit
mm,
by a dog or something like that, and then from now on you just have this fear of dogs, and it may have happened when you were a very little kid and you don't even necessarily remember the exact scenario. Maybe the dog didn't even really bite you, maybe the dog just like scared you a little bit, but in your mind
and
you
that's
got
part
bit by
of
the
what we
dog,
talked about in
right?
PTSD is you block out certain things because you don't wanna remember it.
Yeah,
Mhm,
exactly. But and then now you just have this fear of dogs. You don't even know why you scared of dogs. You just know that you just don't fuck with dogs like that. You
mhm.
just have this fear and you have this phobia, and
And
yeah.
then to clarify, like, how fear is different from phobia, is fear becomes a phobia when it interferes with your ability to function and maintain your quality of life. So, I think we even talked about this with PTSD. When it starts to, like, take over your life, when you are avoiding certain things because of
Mm,
this fear, um you're avoiding dogs because of this fear of dogs and being bitten by a
mm,
dog.
mhm.
That's a phobia. Like when you start to alter your life to run from things because of this fear. Um
Yeah.
I don't think I necessarily like the water situation. I don't run away from water. I get in the water. It's just certain times where it's like, not today.
Yo, so I just had a thought. You remember on the Maury show? You
I
are the
know the
father,
show.
you're not the father of that show. They used to have these certain episodes, sometimes they used to have like random episodes when you like the one episodes when you had to figure out if it was a man or a woman, which was really fucked
What?
up now that I'm thinking about it. They used to have episodes on Maury that was like transgender people on there, and then they had the crowd
No, I
like
don't
guess
remember
if it
that.
was yeah, girl, they used to have that. But anyway, that's
Okay.
completely off of what I was talking about. But they used to have these shows on there, these topics where people used to have phobias of like random shit, right? Like crazy shit, like cotton balls and stuff like that. And they would bring these people on the show and try to make them face their fears. And I remember this one episode in particular. This lady was on there and this bitch was really scared of cotton balls. And they brought like a thing of like cotton balls out, and homegirl was losing her
Like,
shit.
where does that come from?
And that's what we say. Like these things, like something could have happened to her. Maybe she's seen, I don't know. Maybe she's seen
No, you know
somebody
what
get
happened?
suffocated with cotton balls or
She
some
read
shit.
the history
Like I
books
don't know.
about our ancestors, and she said, "I ain't never letting that happen to me again. So Imma stay as far away from cotton as I
Hmm.
can."
And
And
boom,
that ain't
there
no
you have it.
phobia. That's being
And
smart.
that's PTSD in this case. Why you playing shit? Why you playing? But nah, like, but yeah, I just thought about that. I'm sorry I got
No,
off topic, but yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find that episode because that shit was funny as hell. Homegirl was really losing it
that's
over
good
them
it
cotton
allowed me to eat
balls.
my okra. Um, y'all did we talk about that? Y'all about some okra, the okra chips that, Kay was talking about. If you don't like okra, please
Go
don't
ahead and
buy it
tell them
because
you
'cause you're
like
not
them.
gonna really like it. But
Mm.
we fuck with all kind of food. They could have dried asparagus. Imma try it.
And will, and it probably be
Piss.
busting. The only thing
It
about
don't
asparagus, it
matter
make your pee
because who
stink.
drinking my pee?
I hope nobody.
Exactly. But some people that are out there that like go.
Have you
Mm-mm,
ever
I
peed
don't
on
think so.
somebody? Not on purpose.
I don't think so. Yeah, not on purpose.
I got peed on one
On purpose?
time, but not
Oh.
no, not on purpose. He was drunk and he went to bed and peed on me.
This wasn't your child?
I know I've been peed on by
This
him
is an
too, but
adult?
no, but this was a grown adult.
Friend.
Hmm.
I've heard about
I ain't
this where
lying.
people get so drunk they can't control their bladder, but that's scary. I don't ever.
He peed in the bed and and he was like he woke up in the middle of the night. He was like, "Kay, get out of
What?
bed," and I was like, "Why?" I was asleep. I was like, "Nigga, what? Like, what are you talking about?" He was like, "Get out the bed now," and I was scared. I was like,
Who
I was
in the
scared. I didn't know
bed?
what to do, so I rolled out the bed. And he just got up and started like taking the sheets off. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, did you pee?
At least he was like, get out the bed. Because he could have easily woke up and just would have
Like,
been like, I don't know what happened.
yeah, but that nigga, and the only reason I let him get away with that shit is because he
That's the
was
only way
drunk.
you can get
Like,
away with it. But even then, I'm gonna look at you sideways.
it was all good. I ain't hold it against them. I
If you
understand.
my boo, I'll understand. But
But
if not, then I'm not dealing just with some random nigga that just pissed in the bed.
we was in a whole
Okay.
relationship. I'll tell you who it was after the fact.
I
But
feel
yeah,
like I
but we
can
was in a whole
assume who it
relationship.
is,
So it
but
was,
I don't know.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
next
Anyway.
thing, how fear can hinder us. It can impact our physical health. And like we were saying, stress, how it make you lose hair. Like being fearful of
Hmm.
stuff can cause stress, which in essence triggers other hormones in your body, and you start to lose hair or you start to just look bad all the time. Or
I mean, if you think about it, living in a constant state of fear, regardless if it's actual like physical fear or like rational fears or irrational fears, if you living in this constant state of fear, and how we talked about the symptoms that we physically have, right? That increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, all of these
your
things
body is
are
always
stressful
fighting
on your
something.
body, right? And if you and those white blood cells, like if that gets out of whack, that can cause other issues too, right? And so, like, if you're always living in this constant state of fear, you're always putting this extra stress, this unnecessary stress on your body. And stress does the body horrible,
Child.
no good, right? No good. So, yeah, it's not okay to always be
Hmm.
in that state of fear, especially when it's not physical life or death harm, and it's these irrational
Which I
fears
think for
that
the
get
most
to
part,
us.
most people are living in a state of irrational fears. Things that'll never
Most
happen to
people
us.
are, especially in this day. People always create these, like, and I'm guilty of it also, where we create these stories, and it don't be like the best outcome of the story. You always go to the worst case scenario of whatever the situation is, and then you start to break these things down, and you get in your head and be like, well, what if this happens, and what if this happens, and what if they don't love me, and what if they
Child.
reject me, or what if they do these things. And so all of that, and it's completely like the situation ain't even happened yet. or a situation that happened in the past that you can't fix or
Or
can't
you trying to
change, and you
apply
just
it to the
staying
next
there.
situation, which is
And
irrelevant.
or and yeah, and so I think that most, especially in this day and age, like most of our stuff is irrational. Eat it, girl. Don't, it's gonna crunch in the mic. Look at you. But yeah, I think most of the stuff is irrational for the most part. And if you sit down with a therapist, you could probably work through some of these things. But we ain't in the tip shit. We gonna get there. We
Child,
ain't there
the
yet, but we
permanent
getting
tip
there.
is get a fucking therapist, child. Y'all always gonna know. That's tip number
Always
one. Get a therapist.
get a therapist. Hey, if you ever wondering what the
When we
tip
ain't got no
is, it's
tips.
a therapist. It's a therapist.
Anyways, How else it can hinder fear can hinder us is it can interrupt brain functions that allow us to regulate our emotions, i.e., like the reflecting before acting. Um, if you're always
Mm,
in fear, sometimes you might do just impulsive things because you're in fear and you're not reflecting before you're acting on
mm.
certain things. Yeah.
You're not thinking before you do. You're just
Yeah. So
doing
like
out of
if
like a knee jerk.
somebody is
Yeah.
walking up to you, and I think this I learned this during boxing. Our natural response, if somebody walks up to you and tries to swing at you, your natural response is to flinch. But when you're boxing, you get
Mm-hmm.
trained not to flinch. Like if something's coming at you, your response is,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do it.
Don't.
Anyway, I was trying to block. So it's like either block or
Mm,
punch, like, or something like that. So
yeah.
you get trained in such a way to where now, like if a punch is coming at you, you're not covering your face like
Yeah.
this. You're actually doing an effective block to actually protect yourself.
Mm,
Or just thinking effectively to be able to get away and not just jerking and stuff like that. So, fear can
mm-hmm.
cause us to react impulsively, if that's the case. And
Yeah.
then the last thing that I have is fear can just add to your anxiety. And trust me, I know with increased anxiety, you ain't getting anywhere. You just stressed all the fucking time. And that's where I'm at right now. And I'm not even fearful right now. It's just anxiety. It's just a lot. And maybe it's fear of failing,
You
child,
scared and you stressed. Maybe
because
maybe
I'm
that
new.
is. That's a fear also. Mm-hmm. Nigga, you in these
No, it's
damn
because I haven't ate
okras.
dinner. And it could be fear because I am new. I have so many fucking
Mm-hmm.
I have so many people that I'm supervising that I've never supervised before in a career field that's not my career field
Mm-hmm.
before. So yeah, maybe I am kind of fearful of failing these people, and because of the rank I have, of course, automatically people assume that I have so much experience under my belt because people typically with my rank are like damn near 20 years in, and I have half that amount of time in, and so honestly, this is like my first time being in this kind of position to be able to lead like I'm leading. And so I have to walk. Basically, I'm not saying I have to walk as if I know everything, but I don't want my people, I have to come off,
You gotta
yeah, I have to
almost
come off
fake the
confident and
funk. Yeah.
like handle my people as if I know what I'm doing. Trust me, I'm going to ask the fucking questions and seek advice if I need it. But at the same time, I'm honestly, in some cases, the same age as the people that I'm fucking supervising, which is not the most normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. Girl, just wing
That's what
it.
I'm
Fuck it.
doing,
We
child.
do it
Fuck it, I'm
live.
doing
That's
it
what we
live.
all doing really. Cause honestly, the the people that's at the top, that's probably like, oh well, fuck it. Let's just
That's
do it
what
and
they
see
do.
what happens. And honestly, that's where I've been at. That's where I've been at. Like here recently, I have been in a couple of situations where things are scary for me, just on the
Hmm.
emotional like front, right?
Fuck it,
And
do it
at this
live.
point, I'm just like, fuck it, let's do it live, see what happens. Like the worst thing that can happen is I get a no, or things might not necessarily go as
Do
expected.
it
But you know
live,
what?
baby.
Fuck it, let's do it live. Like see what happens. Like yeah, it's scary, yeah, it's challenging, but hey, YOLO. Like
I live in
that's
Yellow
how I
County.
feel at this point. Is that really the name of the county? Wow. Fuck it. Like yellow.
Okay, friend,
Like,
you want to give some tips?
mm. Of course, this is the section where I feel like I like to, give advice to you niggas out here. First, like we said, get a therapist. But second, second, especially if you are dealing with a phobia of something that's just like a dog, spider, something
I
that's
don't
just
like them
not.
motherfuckers either.
I don't want to. No, you might not like them, but it shouldn't be controlling your life to where you actively avoid these things or you just like shut down completely or change your
Burn the
whole
house
life around
down.
because of burn the house down. You know, you don't have to burn a house down if you see a spider. All you have to simply do is
It ain't that
grab a
simple, friend.
shoe, a spray,
It ain't that simple because I'm not
some.
going to sleep until I find that motherfucker and kill it.
But one way, if you do have one of these phobias, right, is to desensitize yourself to whatever it is. So gradually over time exposing yourself to whatever it is you're afraid of. Now we're not saying go all in. Like we're not saying if you scared of water and you can't swim to dive in the deep end. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that okay, maybe get in the kiddie pool for a while, right? And we've been using this swimming analogy, I think, because it works. But maybe get in the kiddie pool, right? You know, you everybody can get in the kiddie pool. You can walk around. You might be scared of water, but you're gradually exposing yourself to the water. Okay, maybe after the kiddie pool, maybe you can get a little noodle or some little floaties. Get in the 3 feet, unless you know you're not that
Oh
tall
my
like my
God.
friend.
Girl, fuck you.
Um, but you taller than three
Period.
feet, and you can
I can
make
make
it
it
in the
into
three
5
feet,
feet
right? So maybe walk around,
on my tippy toes with a doggy paddle.
but gradually, you know, walk around, maybe get some swim lessons, gradually expose yourself and get comfortable with those with the water, right? And we're using this as an example, but apply it to whatever you may be fearful of or have a phobia of, right? And then two, don't just be diagnosing yourself. Go to an actual like professional and be like, okay, no, you actually do have a phobia of this thing. Don't listen to us and just say, oh, because I'm really scared and it's irrational and it alters my life. Like, go actually to a physician
And
or
that's
a
with
professional and
everything.
get
Yeah.
diagnosed with these things. But exactly. But desensitizing. The next thing is cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm so happy I didn't butcher that, but CBT. And it's a type of therapy that will help you to tackle negative and unrealistic thoughts regarding the intense fear. So, like we said, go get a therapy, and specifically a therapist that specializes in that cognitive behavioral therapy, okay? Next is relaxing techniques. When you get scared, when you get fearful, one of the first things that's going to happen is your breath is probably going to get short and shallow. And I'm a big component of like breathing. And even at work, when I find myself in stressful situations, not even necessarily fear based, but breathing, as simple as just taking 5 deep, slow breaths, can really like alter your chemistry in your brain, get that amygdala, whatever that, what is
Oh,
that,
that's the
amygdala?
fear
Yeah.
hormone.
Yeah, that's the part in your brain that's that fear of flight. And when you start to shorten your breath and breathe shallow, it starts to think, okay, what's going on with the body? What do I need to run from? What do I need to be afraid of? And then it starts sending signals out to the other parts of your brain to start increasing your heart rate because
Mm-hmm.
it's thinking maybe you need to run from a situation or it's thinking maybe you need to fight in a situation. So simply by breathing and getting more oxygen, you tell that part of your brain that, oh, maybe it's not as stressful as I thought it was. Maybe okay, y'all, the other parts of your brain be like, okay, y'all can relax. We don't need to fight right now. We don't need to run right now, right? So the other parts of your brain can calm down. So simply by breathing, y'all, it's free. The air is free. Depending on where you at, it might not
Okay.
be as clean, but you still need to breathe it
You
in, right?
still living because of
Okay.
it. So
So you still just need to breathe it in. So just take the time if you notice your body reacting or if you notice you're getting scared, just do that 5 times and then I promise
you
you
will.
you're gonna feel better, okay? And at least you'll be able to
Mhm.
rationalize a little bit easier, you know? So relaxing techniques, that's just one technique. Whatever you need to do to help calm you down, if you need to take a walk, if you need to remove yourself from the situation, whatever you need to do, whatever works for you. But breathing works for me in
No,
most
this is
scenarios.
this
Next
one is
is,
literally basically what you
yeah,
said in
I
the
ain't do that
beginning,
one.
but there's an actual name to it. So the gradually being exposed to your fears. There's a name to it, and it's called flooding.
Mm,
So it's like in a controlled environment, like you said, like a 3 foot pool or something. You expose yourself to this fear until you eventually get past it and you realize it's okay. This fear, I'm not really scared. Like I'm okay or whatever. And it's called flooding. So it's just a name to what you were talking about
mm-hmm,
earlier. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like all dogs aren't gonna
Just
bite me.
expose in a controlled
Yeah,
environment,
like
exposing yourself to dogs, and it's like, okay,
Mhm.
all right, this one likes me. This one's just happy. Okay, this one gets like this one is scared. So
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I don't have anything else.
All
I actually
righty,
think this was a pretty decent episode. Sorry for us getting sidetracked. Like
I'm
I
not
said,
sorry
it's that
because it
red
just makes
wine,
me.
y'all. Mm.
Mm.
Sorry, not sorry, so to speak. Ah. All right, so that's it for this week's episode of You Need a Therapist podcast. Please follow us on You Need a Therapist pod at Instagram. Email us if you
I'll
want. Girl, you've been
try.
checking that email because I haven't. Email us. Maybe we'll check it. Maybe we won't at you need a therapist pod at gmail.com. We would like if y'all would email us. If y'all emailed us,
That's the
then we
thing.
actually will have a reason to check it more often. So yeah, that's it. More to come with our schedule. It may or may not be changing here in the near future. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Raven, do
See
you
y'all
have
next week.
anything that you would like to
Bye.
share? Bye.